Yo, I'm over here now. So now I'm just gonna do some videos, mostly because I'm bored. And I hope that somehow this is a better angle for nighttime, just because we were having a problem of me being able to be seen whenever it's, dark out and stuff. Wait for traffic to get through here. This person's gonna stare at me. Cool. Bye-bye. But yeah, so this one is just gonna be random, kind of me remembering cool things happened in D&D. So I'm just going to ramble on about how cool they were and how much fun they were. And as much complaining as I did in the last video I did about D&D, this one is about the same people. It's about Team Stranglehold, and just because I can kind of give them a beginning, middle, and end, mostly because we don't play them anymore. Our DM had to move on to other things in his life, so it happens. But yeah, in case you didn't see it, the entire Team Stranglehold idea came about because we were put so many constraints on the campaign. Like, you couldn't be anything that had dark vision. There was no magic. There was no psionics. There was only divine magic, and we weren't given any details on what the campaign was. So we didn't know why we were there, why we wouldn't be doing this, or why we wouldn't be doing that. So pretty much speed bump. Since we got nothing, we had nothing to go on. We figured we'd try to make the most overpowered team we could possibly make, or at least be as coy as we could within the rules. So we ended up all going with Warforged, which are basically magically created people that are all metal. They're basically walking suits of armor. They're robots, more or less. So we're robot people, and our backstory that he kind of we never got to go into was that we were actually dwarves, because dwarves were evil in this campaign, I guess, or if they weren't evil, they were slaves, and we were dwarves that we escaped slavery by turning ourselves into these Warforged. So we're Warforged with the attitude of dwarves. So it was really cool. And what we did from there was basically the entire campaign was a very hand-holdy campaign, like I had said. It was a lot of what happens next, and the DM just kind of tells us, well, this is what you guys do next, and then this is what you guys do next. Wasn't a whole lot of choice in it, so that's why we kind of had to develop our own kind of style to it. So basically, we had my character, whose name was I was just going through the list of words, and I was just trying to make the most awesome, the most ridiculously awesome sounding name I could. So his name came out to be Panzer Liger V of Stranglehold, and he's basically you can choose what kind of metal you're made of whenever you start. So I made it so my guy was made out of adamantine, which is the most powerful, or the hardest metal in the game. It's also the most heavy, so it makes him really he's really cumbersome, because he's basically a walking suit of the heaviest metal there is. But at the same time, he's really really durable, because he's made out of the heaviest metal. So his skin is literally just armor, and he's a barbarian, so he can rage, which basically means he just flies into a random just intense fury, where he just goes in with reckless abandon. Except they have cool things called alternate class features, where I swapped my ability to rage with my ability to frenzy, which instead of me being able to do more damage punching wise, I was actually made myself more difficult to hit, because basically what I do is flailing around like an insane person. So that's awesome. And so yeah, and he carries around basically a maul, except since we couldn't really find, like, the DM says, well, we couldn't find a maul. That's kind of an exotic weapon. I go, oh, okay. Well, then my guy uses a thing of, like, basically just a giant stone, like a stalactite base. A stalactite with, like, a handle sticking out of it. And it's going to do the same amount of damage and everything. And he was like, alright, fine. So my dude has this big fuck-off hammer. And that's about it. And he just wants to smash things. Then we had, I think his name was Gurren Lightfoot. It might be or like Gurren Swiftfoot, like something like that, Swift Shadow. Also Warforged, and his thing was that he was our stealthy guy. He was our, I think he was a rogue, or maybe he was just a scout. So, yeah, pretty sure he's a scout. Which means he gets skirmish damage. So if he like runs up to somebody, he gets to do more damage because he uses all that momentum to injure them further. And then we had Kar Ramrod, who was another player's, and he was a Warforged Paladin. I think Paladin Fighter. So he actually he would call upon dwarven gods of like smithing and crafting. Because the thing about Warforged is, since they don't have any like organs or any like human body things, they're a lot harder to heal. So they don't heal naturally over time because their body won't mend themselves, and they also have less flesh. So spells that usually will cure wounds don't work as well. So he starts praying to dwarven gods, so that instead of it like trying to heal flesh, we use spells that like heal weapons or heal like armaments. So that heals us completely. You can also smite evil and like smell evil pretty much. So yeah, we have this full team, and he is also made out of adamantium. I also should have mentioned that Gurren is made out of mithril, which, if you've seen Lord of the Rings, like it's this super, super lightweight metal. So he's not as, but it's also way better than steel. And so he's not as armored as we are, but he's more armored than he would be, and he's also really dexterous and really maneuverable. So we have a healer, we have a main fighter, and we have a light guy. That's like as classic 3-man team as we could get with what we had, and it worked out awesome. So basically, once we finally started getting into melee combat, my dude is carrying a spear on his back. I don't use the spear. I have it back there. That way, Gurren can pick it up off my back and start using it as a weapon to stab people over my shoulder. Because me and Kar Ramrod form a wall. We both stand there side by side and don't let anybody get past us, while Gurren is in the back, just basically stabbing over our heads at people. And it was the most fun, because it was the most tactically coordinated team we've ever made. And I really contribute that to the amount of constraints that we were put under. We didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. We didn't know anything about the campaign. Coming over this way. We didn't know what we were going to be fighting, so we wanted to make ourselves able to just kick the fucking shit out of anything. The problem is, you do that every time. Everybody does that. You always want to have the ability to beat the shit out of anything. The thing is, we never specialize. We never have characters that can like, I am this. Like, I was the fighter. I was the main damage dealer. That's what my guy's role is. I was there to absorb punishment. Kar Ramrod was there to heal us and to kind of talk our way out of the situation. That was his role. Gurren, his role was to be sneaky and to get quick stabs in. That was those are the role parts of role-playing games. And it actually doesn't come up to where we do that all that often. A lot of the times, especially with how we play, we end up, because we do just stealth, which is where you level up in 2 different classes at the same time. You do that when you have really small campaigns, like we usually end up having, because usually they figure you're gonna have like 4 to 5 people. We like are lucky to get 3, so we do gestalt rules, and when you do that, you have so many options that you usually end up taking them all. So instead of you being like, I'm a really, really, really good thief, it's I'm a good thief fighter who can cast spells. So like instead of me being able to like